which method is actually better? Having pre-generated characters or having a session 0 with your players? Actually, they're both really good in their own ways. Stick around and I'll let you know why. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Pastor from Snapkeep Videos, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the differences between having pre-generated characters prepared for your players and having a session 0, and the pros and cons for each. Also, why I think you should choose one method over the other. For those of you that aren't familiar with the phrase session 0, it means you have a gathering with the players and the DM who are going to be playing in the campaign or one-shot, only for character creation. No gaming is going to happen just yet. This is a time where you get familiar with your DM, they get familiar with you, and you guys get to create your characters all in the same place and just share that moment together before the game actually begins. Let's get started. Now that we all know what a session 0 is, let's start looking at the pros about having a session 0. The first good thing about having a session 0 is that it's a great way for new players to break the ice, to get over that intimidation factor of playing a game they've never played before. Another good thing about having a session 0 is that it serves as a test to make sure that both the players and the DM can get together at a schedule that works for both parties. Especially having an actual designated location where you plan to play the game. That way everybody knows what it feels like to get together and play. Another good thing is any questions or comments or concerns about the game, will the DM allow you to play this certain character over that certain character? All of these things could be aired out in a public setting so that the dynamic of the DM and the players, you can bridge that gap a little bit and it doesn't seem that awkward. And on the other hand, the DM can inform you what limitations he or she has for you guys. Oh, you guys can't use this because it's not gonna flow with what I have in mind, and that way everyone's on the same page. And obviously, as I mentioned before, this bridges the gap and it causes a rapport to start, a positive one hopefully, and you guys can enjoy and have a much better gaming experience. Now, as far as the cons for having a session 0, I could only come up with one, to be honest. In my own experience, the only negative part of having a session 0 is that players can get too wrapped up in their character creation, focus too much on that, and then all of a sudden it just turns into a big mess. Players can become worried that their character isn't perfect enough, they're not fine-tuned enough, and they just focus too much time and energy into that, and they lose track of the main purpose of playing D&D, which is to have fun. And now let's talk about when you might want to use pre-generated characters instead. Pre-generated characters are great for a one-shot. Reason why is because if you have a one-shot planned, it's all going to be in one session. So having the control, or somewhat of a control, of the characters that you're going to be facing as the DM, knowing where they're coming from and knowing the ins and outs of their limitations and their powers and weaknesses can help you run the campaign, especially if you're a newer DM, so that monkey wrenches can be less likely to show up because you have somewhat of control over the situation. If you plan on doing a one-shot, pre-generated characters are probably going to work out better because it's only going to be in one session, and you can have the players ready to play because you have the characters pre-made already, so the gaming can start a lot sooner. Also, having pre-generated characters can help you in easing the power level of the characters, the player characters, what they can do and what they can't do. If they're too strong, they might just annihilate your one shot and it won't give you a chance to kind of regroup and fix it in the next session because it's only going to be for one sitting. So having pre-generated characters can help you gauge the power level and make sure that the players aren't too weak or too strong for your one shot. In the same vein, by having pre-generated characters for your players, you get to write their backstory and their origin, or even how they all know each other. And it kind of helps what sometimes can seem awkward, having the players decide how they met. A lot of DMs, need that for the story to start. Where are they going to meet? Are they going to meet in a tavern? Are they going to meet in the street? Where are they going to meet? So having their background pre-written by you, you can kind of pigeonhole your players to start in one spot. Then things can happen the way they want, but you at least have a starting point that'll help you start the campaign or the one-shot. Another benefit for having pre-gen characters, it's a great way for new players to just start playing. The intimidation can work both ways. They can get really overwhelmed. Oh, I don't know how to make a character. I'm gonna make it too weak. I'm gonna make it too dumb. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what character I would play. Am I more like a dwarf? Am I more like an elf? By having characters that you can say, here, there's 4 of you. Here's 6 characters I created. That's 2 more choices that they can kind of bounce around with. So it doesn't feel like everyone picked, oh, you got this one. Make it balanced, make it different, give it a variety, and your players can say, I'll try this one this time. I'll get used to playing with an elf this time, and the next time I'll try the dwarf. And it makes it even more enjoyable and less about, oh, we need to make everything perfect, and just have fun, guys. That's what this game is about. Now let's discuss why pre-gen characters might not work for your one-shot or your game session. On the other side of the coin, having players feel uninvolved with what their character is going to be or who they're going to play might be a double-edged sword, because yes, the intimidation factor might not be there, but the players might not feel invested in the character that they're playing because they had nothing to do with their creation. As a result of not feeling invested, players can feel unenthused or uninterested in continuing. Your campaign or your one-shot can be very premature and last only a short period of time because your players just get distracted and they just don't feel invested in the game overall. If you don't have several pre-generated characters for your players to choose from, your players can feel like they're stuck with a character they don't want to play. So a little side note of advice, if you're going to do pre-gen characters and you have, like, for example, like I said, 4 or 5 players, make sure you have 1 to 2, even 3 extra characters written out that your players can feel like they have a big choice pool to pick from. Because if they feel like it's all 1 character per person and they have to fight over them, it might not be a good experience overall. Well, there you have it. I hope this video helped any of you DMs out there trying to figure out which route to go with for your character creation in your D&D adventure. Keep on storytelling, and don't forget to reward your players for role playing. And remember, if you're having fun, you're doing it the right way. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It'll help me out a lot. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. I upload videos every week, and if you ring the notification bell, you can stay up to date with all the videos I upload. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. You guys take it easy.